have been creating art for as long as I can remember. It has always been my favorite activity and something to look forward to. I've taken art classes for as long as I've been in school, and I've even taken community art classes. I've always identified as an artist. Like any other artist, I've always been looking for ways to improve my art, and I feel like I've always been rushing to grow as an artist. Every piece I created always had to be better than the last, even at such a young age. I'm 21 now, and although my art has come a very long way, I know that I will still continue to grow as an artist for as long as I am creating art. My art and my processes are not the same now as they were a year ago, let alone 5 or even 10 years ago. So here's the advice that I would give to my younger self and anyone else watching this video who might be in the same spot as I was. Number 1, don't rush your growth as an artist. Many great artists are remembered by the work they created towards the end of their lives rather than the work they created while they were young. There are plenty of well-established artists who never even started their art journeys until they were well into adulthood. And even the ones who started young didn't find the style that they became known for until much later. And yet, as young artists, many of us hold ourselves to the standards of older artists who have had so much more time and so much more practice to grow. I understand the rush, especially in this age of social media when we have access to all these images and profiles and videos of established artists, young prodigies, and privileged young artists who have had access to more resources to develop their art. And we see all of these people and compare our art to theirs, and we compare ourselves to them. It creates this pressure to become a fully established artist at such a young age. This brings me to point number 2. My second piece of advice is don't compare yourself to what you see online. Social media can be an amazing tool for artists to learn, to create, and even to make money off of their artwork. But like many other things in life, it's not perfect. You may have heard about the unrealistic beauty standards that social media can perpetuate, and the effects that this might have on young viewers. Well, the same can be said about art. Social media brings millions of people within one community together, and it allows everyone to have a voice. As a result, our screens are full of all different kinds of thriving artists. They are incredibly talented, successful, famous, and most of the time, quite young. It's easy to forget when our curated pages are full of these artists and seemingly successful people that they are one in a million. Just because they are all we see on social media does not mean that they are the norm. In fact, it doesn't even necessarily mean that what we are seeing these artists share with us are entirely accurate representations of their artistic journeys and practices. Think about how you represent your own art on social media for a minute. Do you post artwork that didn't turn out like what you had in mind? Do you post the countless exercises and doodles that you did to get where you are as an artist? Do you post about financial troubles or difficulty getting your artwork in galleries or publications? Odds are you probably don't. And odds are you probably only post your best works and your successes. The same is true for the artists that you see on social media. These troubles and failures that you choose not to share are nothing to be ashamed about. They are an essential part of any artist's career, including the artists that you see on social media. So while what you're seeing may be real and true, this does not mean that it's the entire truth. And you should never compare your entire truth to someone else's curated one. This brings me to my final piece of advice. The art that you create does not have to mimic the art that you admire. My third and final piece of advice for this video is admittedly one that I've struggled with for a very long time, and have only recently realized how this impacts my style. Most successful artists have a recognizable, quote, style, and in this day and age of contemporary art, there are so many different styles, not to mention all the dominant styles and traits throughout art history. There is something for everyone to admire. I struggled with trying to find my style for a very long time because I was creating so many different kinds of art. As an art history student, I find inspiration every day in so many different styles, periods, and media, which made it very difficult for me to investigate the art that I naturally gravitate towards creating. I want to be clear here. Not every artist needs a clear or specific style, and you should absolutely be experimenting with creating different types of art and moving out of your comfort zone. How else will you grow? But it can be difficult sometimes to decide what kind of art to focus on creating when you are surrounded by so many different kinds of beautiful and inspirational artworks. The art that you enjoy and admire does not have to look the same or even similar to the art that you create. You are allowed to experience different kinds of art in different ways. If you're struggling with finding your own style, try asking yourself these questions. What kind of art do you tend to make without prompts from an instructor or the internet? What kind of art do you create to combat art block? What kind of art makes you happy to create or feels therapeutic to create? And finally, what inspires you in your personal life? Thinking about these questions might give you a place to start when trying to find your style. But remember that once you do find your style, you are allowed and encouraged to create other types of artwork, and your style should change and grow as you do. Growing and making mistakes is a part of being an artist. It is not something to avoid or hide from. It is how we learn and improve. I have experience and advice now that I didn't have in my younger days, and I can't go back in time to help myself improve earlier, nor would I want to, because then I'd never have learned these lessons in the first place. So hopefully, if you were in a similar spot where I was, this video gives you a place to start while working through any of these struggles, and hopefully it helps you to not be so harsh on yourself and to enjoy the process, which is something I wish I had known sooner. If you found this video helpful, it would mean a lot to me if you could give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel and comment down below to let me know what you'd like to see in my future videos. Thanks for watching!